4th and last movie in this year's Werewolf-athon, and it's going to be wild. I hope. Wild Country is a 2006 indie movie by Gabriel Films Limited. It had a pitiful budget of £1 million, fielded a cast of unestablished actors, and found its way on the Sitges Film Festival in 2005 prior to release. Not much else to say besides hoping that it would be an improvement over Cursed. I mean, at least this film did not have to endure executive meddling by Harvey Weinstein, so it might have a chance. Right away, we open with our main character, Kellyanne, played by Samantha Shields. All is going well with the delivery of her baby, but Father Stephen Gillis, played by Peter Capaldi, mentions that the baby is going up to a family for adoption.
You made a family today, Kellyanne.
Gonna do us a favour, Father?
Of course.
Gonna get the hell out of here.
Now, it's not made clear, but this scene suggests that this is a case of teen pregnancy that didn't have an option for an abortion. We don't know whether Kellyanne wanted to keep the baby or not, at least not right now. But the film certainly emphasizes how common her situation is.
Kelly?
In any event, she and Father Stephen are then on a hiking trip with some teenagers, named Louise, Mark, and David. And as they're driving, Stephen tells a story about a cannibalistic family that used to live in this area, and
They were sort of an inbred cannibal clan who would ambush travellers, take them back to the cave, and eat them.
oh, so this is turning into wrong turn territory. Seems like Mark is the butt monkey of the group, since the others try to leave him behind as he attempts to open a gate. I'd expect this behavior from the teens alone, but not from Stephen, who's supposed to be the authority figure here. Speaking of, he tells the others to reach a rendezvous point by tomorrow while they go hiking alone. That seems like a bad idea.
Fuck's sake, that's miles away.
Well, that's the whole idea of Wild Country hike, big man.
Oh, title drop! But there's one more party member coming along. This is Lee, played by Martin Compston. He's Kellyanne's ex, and even she wonders how he got here.
How come you've been avoiding me?
What, I've been avoiding you, have I?
How you have?
You never came near me the whole time I was pregnant, you prick.
Well, that's the way you wanted it.
Really? And when did I see you long enough to tell you that?
Look, I just want to say that I totally understand, right? I mean, I was a bit pissed off at first, but the baby's in good hands and that's all that matters.
Would you be a prick?
Yeah, don't knock up your girlfriend if you aren't going to help her in her time of need. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to look out for your balls. They then hear the sound of a baby crying, only to come across a sheep instead. They engage in some small talk with the shepherd who owns said sheep, and nothing seems out of the ordinary, except for their suspicions that the shepherd could be the cannibal. Oh, teenagers. The day comes to an end after the scene, and the kids camp out while Father Stephen stays in a nearby inn. So far, there's nothing major, save for some light character building, but things pick up again when Kellyanne runs into the shepherd after separating from the group for a bit. He's acting really creepy. So is he the cannibal after all? False alarm! He's quickly killed off by our werewolf of the movie. Kellyanne then makes her way back to her peers and told them what happened. They then debate between staying or fleeing, and eventually choose to stay with rotating lookouts. She even takes a chance to make amends with Lee over breaking his balls. But soon she tries to follow the cries of that baby again, and they lead her to the outskirts of this castle. Now, the castle in question is one found in Mugdock Country Park in Scotland, which might be the same as what's shown on Wikipedia, but it seems like the filmmakers can only shoot outside the structure, as the interior shots take place inside of a factory or something. Doesn't matter either way, since the story mostly takes place at nighttime. And while the lack of lighting can achieve a degree of tension and paranoia with the audience, I couldn't help but think that it's a little too dark for me to make out what's going on. Anyway, Kellyanne manages to find the baby, only to find the dead shepherd soon after. Whatever killed him probably lives here, so they should probably leave.
Oh, look, he's hungry.
Oh, that's cute. Now, can we get the fuck out of here?
Wait, Lee!
What?
Have you your jacket? The baby's freezing.
Sick? Shit, that was my mobile.
Aw, they're like a teenage couple at last. arguing and everything. Well, time to leave with everyone, but Kellyanne needs to feed the baby.
He has to be fed. Ah!
What is it?
I think he's got a wee tooth.
Not sure I'd like the reason it could do that. So the gang decides to get the baby to safety and call the police to investigate the castle. But as they walk, something seems to pick off Mark without so much of a sound.
Oh, Jesus! Oh, Jesus Christ!
Now how the hell did that happen? And without anyone hearing anything? Then the teens can see the eyes of the monster shining in the darkness, so it's time to hightail it out of there. After averting danger, they wondered why this thing didn't eat the baby at the castle, but before they can think any further, they get jump scared!
Louise! Louise!
Louise! You alright?
Jeez, Louise, how did you manage that? Well, David, you're the most expendable after Louise, so you go get her. Everyone else uses rock throw at the beast as it slowly closes the distance. That plan fails, though, and another boy decides to jump in and save Louise, leaving Kellyanne all alone with the baby. Oh, and to further show how well the darkness can hide the werewolf effects, we only get a short glimpse of its face.
Run! David! Run! Oh my god!
Kellyanne uses flamethrower and it knocks the beast down. But because Louise told the boys to save Kellyanne over herself, she gets killed off soon after. The remaining 3 survivors then agree to make their way back to the castle, with the hope of using it as a place to hide from and or kill the werewolf. They even fashioned themselves some spears to defend themselves. And once they arrive in the room where Kellyanne found the baby, the boys decide to show the monster who's boss.
Pass on, you hairy freak! What's what you're doing? Sorry, mate.
Ooh, bad idea, guys. That just means they'll kill you first for marking over its turf. Now I want to further say that while the interior shots are inside an unused factory, the filmmakers were able to produce a castle-like structure using polyestering. It looks really convincing in the dark, but again, I just wish I could see the characters a bit better. Seems like my wish is granted given that the sun is starting to rise. Now all the remaining survivors have to do is fight past the monster and get the hell out of Dodge. They run into said monster and we finally get a good look at it.
Hey! What you want, eh? Do you want me?
Not the best looking werewolf, since it looks a little too bear-like, but not too shabby for an independent project, unlike some other werewolf movies I've reviewed before. The humans then lure the creature up the stairs before killing it with a rolling stone block. The plan goes off without a hitch, and they continue to stab the crap out of it to make sure it's deader than dead. But uh-oh, there's another one. I should have known they'd come in pairs. And it kills David. Poor David. At least he lived long enough to kill one of the beasts. Well, that's what happens when you attempt to hunt down humans. They fight back. Kellyanne and Lee manage to hightail it into a tree where the monster can't climb up, but it also means they've trapped themselves. They take time to reflect on their past choices regarding their own child, and when they can't find a way to sneak past the beast, Lee decides to sacrifice himself to buy Kellyanne some time to escape with the baby. The next few minutes are of her running and attempting to find cover as the beast follows them. She finds this one guy on a buggy and asks for his help, but the dude decides to be stupid by investigating the dead cattle nearby. You know what this'll lead to, but it also leads to a pretty cool effect moment. Seeing what what just happened, Kellyanne takes the buggy and rides it to the inn. Oh yeah, remember Father Stephen? Apparently he's been sleeping with the innkeeper all this time, because he wants to emulate Jerry Fowle Jr., I guess. It doesn't matter, since Kellyanne is safe now and could contact the police. But she's having a hard time convincing Father Stephen of what she just went through.
You ditched them.
They're dead. They're all dead.
Right. Or maybe they're in on it. You stole this child, didn't you, Kellyanne?
No, I rescued him.
You rescued him from a wolf. You listen to me, lady. This isn't some fairy tale. It's real life and it's serious. How do you think his mother feels?
I don't know. Why don't you ask the mother who had her baby taken from her? Oh, wait!
I know how she feels, remember? You took my baby away from me.
That's a terrible thing to say.
Well, screw you then. And really, it's not like you can prove anything. Kellyanne even calls out on his hypocrisy, since she can smell the sex he just had. And what's the innkeeper got to say?
But what?
About last night.
Oh, don't worry, Father. Be our little secret. But if I'm pregnant, you're paying for the abortion.
So I guess Father Stephen is only a pro-lifer if it's anyone else's child but his. Of course. But before the humans can go on about the merits of family planning, the werewolf attacks. It goes after the innkeeper, and Stephen leaves her to die. The bastard. Meanwhile, it seems Kellyanne is going through her own change.
Kellyanne! Kellyanne, you're right, it was a wolf! It's a fucking wolf!
Well, on that unsettling image, I guess the secret is out. The baby was a werewolf this entire time, and it took Kellyanne several hours to fully transform. Good thing she never displayed any other symptoms or developed powers during the time she was with her friends. Then he dies. And now for the one instance of needing CGI.
Who's that I see walking in these woods? Why, it's Little Red Riding Hood. Hey there, Little Red Riding Hood.
Well, they had to get this sort of family shot in somehow. Also, that's another instance of Little Red Riding Hood being used in a werewolf movie. But that's wild country. For an independent project, I think it's okay. It uses a classic formula in a werewolf horror film, where teens get lost in the countryside and end up either dying to werewolves or turning into them. At least I didn't dislike the character writing, which immediately puts the work above something like Cursed or An American Werewolf in Paris. The filmmakers tried to smuggle in a message on teen pregnancy, but it's hard to tell what the film wants to say on the matter. Is it a pro-abortion or anti-abortion flick? I don't know, and regardless, that theme did not mesh well or relate to the rest of the plot. One could just cut those parts out and nothing would have changed. I wasn't expecting a whole lot on the technical department, so we only have one brief instance of practical effects with a little CG mixed in. The lighting is also amateurish, because it felt a little too dark at times when nothing was really going on. This is a movie where padding is actually not a bad idea, since it barely runs over an hour long. It could have spent more time fleshing out Kellyanne, or tying her personal problems with the werewolf plot, but as it is, it's nothing special. Well, that concludes the Werewolf-athon for this year. Next time, for this year's Halloween review, we'll look at something long overdue. Something from outer space, where they can't hear you scream.
Little Red Riding Hood. I don't think little big girls should go walking in these spooky old woods alone.